Alright, let's hit up this weird run here. The times and the tempos don't really matter. The way that they arranged this is in such a way that you can't easily respell it in a different rhythm that's easier to read. I'll explain why once we get through all the fingerings. But for the most part, the fingerings are pretty straightforward, to be honest. There's nothing that's too screwy. Like this first bar here, you just take it a bar at a time. Read it pretty easily. It's our first bar, right? Doesn't change position, we just stay use all of our fingers and stay in that same position. The next bar, if you practice your scales, that's not a problem. It's pretty familiar shape there. 4 3 1 4 3 1 4 3 1 4 3. Pretty familiar there, nothing too crazy. Same thing here, just in a different spot. 4 3 1 4 3 1. Only thing is that you have to shift to get to the next bar. So instead of playing 4 on this, I think that's a F sharp right there, right? Yeah. So, you know, usually you would play a 4 there to end the shape, but we need to get to the next bar, and, you know, the rhythm doesn't stop, so we need something different there. So I've been using my second finger. That brings us to here, 11, or G flat, on the fourth finger. All in the same position there. Just kind of strange, play it all together, but you know, all in the same position there. Same thing for these next two bars, you just have to shift down a little bit. Shift. This one's, I mean, the end of it is kind of tricky because we have this. The inclination is to change fingerings because we're going from a 7 to a 6, or you could say a B to a B flat right here. So your brain kind of wants to change fingerings there because we're changing notes, right? But I feel like it's easier to just slide your finger a little bit. That way we don't have to like change strings or move around our hand while we're playing this line. We'll just move our index finger down at the very end just a little bit, which gets us in position to play this. Then in position again to play that last bar there. Pretty straightforward there at the last bar. We just have a chromatic run down from F sharp, F sharp, F, E, shift down, E flat, D. Brings us into position to land here on C, C power chord. We just shift up, E flat or C sharp power chord. That's it. It's tricky for sure to put it all together. It's definitely not as impossible as it sounds. You just really have to practice shifting and getting it up to speed. The other tricky part is the speed. It goes pretty quickly. And here, once you get to this part, it changes tempo a few times. Once you listen to it with the, with the actual band, it's pretty easy to get a grasp of. But basically what they're doing is keeping this 16th note, which I think is about this fast. And basically turning the quintuplet at that speed into 16th notes. So usually we would be playing this fast. Right? Now, if you were to fit 5 notes into that space instead of 4, it would sound something like this. So you would see, like here, instead of it being notated in 5/16, would just keep the same tempo and everything. Probably make this a 4/4 bar, and then just notate each of these groups as quintuplets instead of 5/16 notes. That's basically what they're doing. And here, I don't even know exactly what they're doing here, but they're turning the, I want to say the triplet from this tempo here. So you have just 16th notes, right? Then you have quintuplets. Then you have triplets. Again, I think they're taking that triplet, turning it into 8th notes in this new tempo, which is 109. So it still sounds like, we're keeping the same pulse. It sounds like that, but it's just written strangely. Then here, the triplets here, I believe, are supposed to sound like quintuplets in the original tempo. So we have 16th notes. That's quintuplets in 16th notes, but I think these here are supposed to be quintuplets in 8th notes, which is half as fast. So something like that. But there's a problem here, especially because if you try to respell this in the original tempo as quintuplet 8th notes, it becomes a problem because you have one extra quintuplet here. And you can't really have extra quintuplets just hanging off the beat like that. I mean, you can play it for sure, but you can't just notate it like that without creating an error in the score. So what I think they're doing here is basically making it so that you can respell it technically. You could keep these as quintuplets in the old tempo. You could grab these as like slow quintuplets or triplets in the old tempo. But then by the time you get to here, it becomes a problem because you have this one extra quintuplet here, which you can't really do anything with. So I think what they're really doing by spelling out different tempos and different time signatures is trying to accommodate that and make it so the person reads 6 notes, but they're really feeling it in the old tempo as quintuplets. I'll go ahead and play it. It's hard to, again, it's hard to explain it easily, but I think that's generally what's happening. So let's go ahead and play the whole bridge, and then when we get there, you'll hear what I'm talking about. so yeah, that is the solo. Um, Mimics the verse in our part a little bit. We have some of the same figures, and I think we're in the same key. Start in F sharp. No, what is it? C? No, C sharp. Sorry. Yeah, we start in C sharp, and we move up to D. We move back down. Brings us to a reprise of the chorus, but it's not really a chorus because the solo's going over it. I mean, you can call it a chorus if you want, but I wouldn't call it a chorus. And then it brings us to a second bridge, actually. Um, and after that, we're going to have another chorus and then the outro. So really only a few more sections to hit, but I would say from here on out, it gets pretty dense. But yeah, this section here, you probably heard it. There's a lot of changing subdivisions. And again, if you were to write this out in the original tempo, it would probably look like 16th notes, quintuplets, triplets, quintuplets, slower quintuplets, like 8 quintuplets, and then maybe triplets here again, something like that. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not sure if it's possible. It would be something like that. We're going to go ahead and notate out this solo section. I think before that, though, we should probably just do the chorus because we are familiar with that, so we can do that really quick. Do the same exact thing here. I'm going to change this slightly. Instead of down, up, down, we're going to go up, down, up. Up, down, up. That brings us there easily. Okay. Octave. Same fingerings as before. Third finger there brings us down to 1. 4. Fourth finger. First, third, second, fourth, third, second. 1, 2. 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 4, 2. Slide down 12. Fourth finger here. This could be a number of things. I guess we could do slide down to 12 here on the second finger, up to 3, up to 4, because this has a slide out of it, which means we're going to have some space in order to do this, right, to get to the next note. It's like 16 to 10, so something like that. We reposition this to be 11 instead of 16 previous. Not going to leave a lot of room to slide. This. Which maybe is a little less strenuous on the hands, especially if you have smaller hands. Get that for sure. But for the sake of the slide, I'm going to extend my fingers out a little bit so we get a little bit more room there. I have pretty big hands, not the biggest hands in the world, but pretty big hands. I can do that relatively easy. Then we have this little section to lead us into the bridge, the second bridge. I'll hit this really quick. This is actually going to be the same figure that we saw the intro. It's going to be a little different, but it's generally the same. This will be played the same way. Yeah, it's a little tricky there for me personally. So that's how it goes. Clean it up a bit so we don't repeat so many fingerings. They're exactly the same, you know. Uh, After this, it's not so bad. Um, we have the second bridge, which is pretty simple. It's a lot of repetitive figures. And that brings us straight into the chorus. Exactly the same again. They don't change it for the third time. Or fourth time if we're not the soloist. So that's fine. And the outro, like I said, is tricky. Um, I would say it's the trickiest part of the song. Mostly because of the shifting that is involved. Don't really change time or change keys that much. Change a little bit, but um, it's just dense in the amount of notes that there are and what we have to do to play them. We'll get there soon. That should be that section done, I believe. Go and play that. Yeah, there we That's fine. Let's go ahead and take care of this solo section. I don't think it's quite that bad. It's just detailed. We have a changing up my fingerings a little bit here. Generally, Pretty simple. Four, one, two, one, or two, one, or think. Alright. Debating in my head what to use there. That. Four, three, four, three, four, four. Uh, 4, 1, 4, 2, 1, 1, 1, 4, 1, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2, 4. Yep. 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. Oh, we're gonna have to do this. 3. Get our fingers in there. Okay. We can do 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. Apologies if that's exactly what we were, but we. Alright, yeah, we get this done. Let's see. 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 4. Change that into a 3. all fine. Four, 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. Okay. I think that's probably as good as we're gonna get it. Try it. Let's try it a bit slower. 70%. Great, yeah, that works out perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and take a big chunk out of the song. We're gonna go from the beginning of the bridge all the way to the second bridge. Let's go and do that. Notice the smallest error. Sorry. it felt pretty good. Definitely better than what I was using before. I remember when I started learning this song off of that YouTube video from the original bassist, and I mean, it was a whole new world for me. I'd never played through any of these bands or any of this band's songs, and definitely never played through any sheet music that looks like this, so it was definitely a first for me. Um, Took me a while just to like wrap my head around it, and at that point I wasn't even using my this program or anything or any of my own fingerings. So I was relying on what I was looking at video while also trying to like learn the song at the same time. And I don't know, it was just a mess. It was fun to learn it for sure, but it was just a mess. Um, Here I am now. Got this program. I've bought the sheet music, done the work to edit it myself. All that fun stuff. All right, so the second bridge is probably the easiest part of the song. We just have a lot of this. That part's tricky. Uh, Getting everything smooth and clean is definitely tricky there. I think what I have to do here is kind of a shifting thing. Not a slide there, hammer on. Slide all of this together. One. Up our fourth finger for that. 4, 3. 1, 3, 2, 1. I definitely can't play quite that cleanly, like that quickly. I mean, cleanly. But I mean, I can get most of the way there, I think. Yeah. Okay. Let's play. Let's just play this. Just this figure here. Slow it down. Speed it back up. This is kind of a thing that I do. Well, it's not just me. I'm saying I do it in my practice. It's a thing that a lot of people do. They'll just take 1 or 2 bars, slow it down, and then set a timer so it speeds up automatically. I believe. Yeah, I was gonna say. I believe I can set how much it increases each time. It's gonna start at 50% and progress up to 100% in increments of 5. So we're gonna play this a total of 10 times. Go ahead and do that. going until we get to 100%. Oh, that was pretty good. Keep it up. Okay, do it one more time. Alright. That's passable. Not quite the cleanest thing in the world, but it's definitely a lot better than what I was doing before. Well, I'll take that. Let's go ahead and go from the bridge. Then we will move on to the third chorus and the outro. I'll go ahead and play through all of this, because the third chorus isn't going to take me long to notate. The outro is quite long. It's broken up into two sections, I would say. This first section, which alternates between some 5/4 and 4/4 bars, and then, which is simple enough in terms of time. We're just, going from 4/4 basically into single bar of 5/4 for each phrase, which isn't that bad. Second section here is a bit more screwy. It switches from 6/8 to 5/8 to 4/4, and some like 3/8 2/4 in there, 7/8 5/8 6/8 whatever. That goes on for a little bit, and then I guess if you want to count this section here, it's just in 5/8. Sorry, 5/8 for the rest of the outro, and it's quite repetitive. So this last section is bad. Middle section is annoying, and the first section is annoying to play. It's not annoying to count, but it is annoying to play. So, I'll just play through it the best that I can. But we'll go from the bridge. go. That is it. Took us a while to get here, but that's the end of the song there. Let's go ahead and work on the last sections, and then hopefully everything on the channel will go back to normal. I realize it's kind of weird to go through this whole process for a gaming channel, but the game was not cooperating today, so we had to do something else.